Hello, I hope you guys are doing great. Chime on and let me know that you're here. And we will get this party started. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes and then I'll get rolling. Let's see. I think I'm going to use this. Don't mind me as I rummage through my drawer. I'm looking for something and can't. Oh, there it is. Found it at the back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Sorry about the light. I thought I'd do a slightly different angle with my phone today. See if that would be better. There, now that's not there. Anyway, hi! So today I'm going to make peanut butter surprise delights. I first had this recipe probably about 17 or 18, I'm going to say 18 years ago or so. We did back in the day when we could actually get together in person, we did a Pampered Chef Christmas potluck. And my friend Kim, who was on the same team I was at the time, she brought these amazing, delectable treats. So ever since then, I have loved them. I have made them several times just for Christmas, basically. But my sister also had a recipe for a peanut butter bar with chocolate, like a ganache type thing on top. And so when she started making that, I stopped the peanut butter balls because peanut butter and chocolate, we had lots of those and people were finding it really hard to resist them, both of them. So we dialed it back and just went with her peanut butter bars. This year I thought, because I'm not doing baking with anybody, that I would make these ones just for us. So I have, it's like 5 ingredients in total, so very basic and simple. So we're going to have 2 cups of peanut butter. You can use crunchy or smooth. The original recipe calls for crunchy. We don't eat crunchy, so it always is smooth. You can add chopped nuts if you want. If you're just tuning in, I'm making peanut butter surprise delights. So enjoy. I will, of course, share the recipe later. I'll post it in this group as a separate post, so you can enjoy that. So it's peanut butter, butter, Rice Krispies, and icing sugar. That's what makes up your balls. And then you're going to melt chocolate wafers, and I'll teach you guys how to do that. You're going to melt the chocolate that you coat the balls in. So it's pretty simple. The flavors are just incredible. And sorry, there was a call on my pager not too long ago, so if you hear anybody else talking, I've turned it down, but you can still hear the voices of the responders. Okay, that's 1 jar of peanut butter gone. And I think I'll add a little bit more, but I'll get this out first. So of course the measure-all cup is perfect for doing stuff like this. So good. So good. All right, we got that. And I'll do another good hefty scoop. There we go. All right. So in my bowl, I already have icing sugar, and I already have my Rice Krispies measured out too. So they're just sitting in the small batter bowl over to the side here, to my left, to your right, when you're watching this. All right. Countertop's gonna get messy anyway, so I'll just set stuff down. All right, we also need a 1/2 cup of butter. So there are a couple of tricks you can use when you're cutting butter. I tend to I got this butter ruler. If those of you who've lived in Kingston for a long time, you may recall there was a store called MJ's Kitchen. It was in the old Kingston Center. So I got one of these. My mom had one, and I, of course, had to have one when I moved away. So I love, love, love it. But did you also know that the butter packaging actually has the measurements on the outside of it? So you don't have to have a butter ruler if you don't have one. You can also take a or measure cup and measure it that way. Or you can take a liquid measuring cup, and let's say you need 3/4 of a cup of butter. I would take a 2-cup measuring cup or a 4-cup measuring cup. You would fill up to, if you're doing a 2-cup, you'd fill it up to the 1.5 cup mark, and then add the butter until the water level rises to meet the 2-cup line. I hope that makes sense for you guys. So you have a couple different ways to do that. So we need a 1/2 cup, and that's going to go there. The rest is going to go on our butter dish, so I'll just leave it and do that after. Doesn't butter make everything taste amazing? I just love using butter on everything. So good. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use beaters for this because it's you can imagine with the butter and peanut butter, it's going to be a pretty sticky job and thick job. Now this mixer, it's been with me for, I'm going to say 19, maybe 20 years. I'm going to say 19. So one of the promotions that was going on for consultants way early on when I started my business, I think it was the summer after I joined, so it was 2001. And for a certain number of shows, you could earn different kitchen kitchen tools, electric ones. So you could earn a stand mixer or a blender or a hand mixer or an immersion blender, I think was another one. Anyway, you got, depending on the level that however many shows you did, you got to have this certain thing. So this has been my hand mixer since I earned it way back in 2001. I love this thing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So it's get a little noisy. And hopefully the icing sugar won't go flying up into my face or all over me or all over the camera, and then you guys wouldn't be able to see. So you're just going to gently work it in. You could find ice. Has anybody ever, if you have a stand mixer, have you ever put ingredients in and then plugged it in, not knowing that it was turned on by accident? That happened to a friend of mine once. I forget what we were making, but he plugged in the stand mixer at the friend's house we were at, and there was icing sugar in the bowl, and it went, flour, and it went poof everywhere because someone had left it turned on but unplugged. So not knowing that it was on when it was plugged in created a little bit of a mess. So that was pretty funny. So the reason I'm doing this slowly to start is because I want to incorporate the icing sugar so that it doesn't go poof flying everywhere. Butter's still pretty big. So you can see you need a fairly large bowl. This is the biggest of our stainless mixing bowls. And I would prefer actually to have something a little bit higher with this, but I wanted you guys to be able to see it, because if I did it in my stainless bowl, the big one I normally use, you wouldn't be able to see what was going on in there. So we're incorporating the butter. If your butter can be fairly soft, it's a good idea. It doesn't need to be melted, but it definitely needs to be workable. So if it's cold out of the fridge, that's just going to be harder for it to get mixed in. So once this is all incorporated, we're going to add the Rice Krispies that I already have measured out, and then we scoop them out. So what I've done is I've taken my half-sheet pan here and lined it with one of our baking mats, and I'm going to scoop out all of the balls, and I use the small scoop. I figure it's the 1 tablespoon size. I figured smaller means maybe I can eat 3 instead of eating 3 big ones. But that way, if I just want a little taste too, I can just have 1 without thinking, oh, if I have 1, I need to eat the whole big one. So that's my logic. I don't know if that works for you guys or not. All right, so we're getting this together in here. Now we're turning up the guns. so you get the idea. So once that goes in, I'm going to add, once I get this all mixed together, I am going to add in the Rice Krispies. And then so what you want to do is you want to chill these, and you can put them in the fridge for several hours or the freezer for a couple, because you want them to be good and hard. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make a double boiler. If you don't have an actual double boiler, don't worry about it. Take like one of our small glass mixing bowls and use it instead. So what you want to have is you want to have water in your pot. You want to have it boiled. So I usually just boil it with the double boiler sitting on top. And then once the water's come to a boil, then I add my wafers. The reason that I use the double boiler rather than heating up the chocolate in the microwave is that the chocolate will eventually cool when it comes out of the microwave. And what I want to do is keep the chocolate nice and soft and pliable all the way through. And so I would add that, let it go. You want to make sure when you're putting your water in that it's not going to touch the bottom of whatever you're using, whether it's a double boiler or a glass mixing bowl that's heat safe. So you just put a little bit in there and just let it go. So that's what I use to melt the chocolate. So I went to the Bulk Barn, and if you have not done this before, these are, I think they're on sale this week actually. If not, they're not excruciatingly expensive. So there's little chocolate wafers. You can use whatever, like milk chocolate, dark chocolate, bittersweet, whatever you like. These are milk. I have to taste them before I use them. So I'm going to melt these. And then I'm going to use my tool. This comes with the coating trays. So I put my peanut butter ball on here. I'm going to dip it into the chocolate and set it back down onto the sheet. And then I put them back into the fridge or freezer and let them set for the chocolate to set. And then I can put them all in a big container in the freezer and stick them in. And hopefully people will forget about them and not eat them before I have a chance to. I don't know. I love to bake, but I don't like it when people eat a whole bunch of stuff before I have everything ready to go, because I would like to give some as gifts. So I'm hoping my family doesn't find this container really quickly to do that. All right, so the other thing I was going to mention is if you want, so when this chocolate melts, it's not going to be a shiny finish. If you want it to be shiny, then you add a little bit of fat to it, whether it's coconut oil or canola oil or a little bit of butter. That will help with the kind of the shininess of the chocolate when it sets. If that's not important to you, then don't do it. But that's just a couple of tips for you guys. So again, this is peanut butter surprise balls, icing sugar, butter, peanut butter, Rice Krispies, and chocolate wafers melted that you dip your peanut butter balls in and let them sit in the freezer. And oh my goodness, you guys, I hope you make these because they are delicious. They don't really scream Christmas necessarily, but this is the time of year that I got them, so I relate them to Christmas stuff. So I hope this is helpful for you guys and fun, and looking forward to sharing some more recipes throughout this week. Oh, and I had an idea today. I think I alluded to it either on my personal wall or here, but I would love to do like a Zoom cookie exchange, and I'm thinking maybe this weekend would be really fun, or next weekend. So the idea is you come with your favorite recipe made, and then we talk about like who brought what and why you love it, and then we can all share the recipes. So let me know if you're interested in that. I'll also make a separate post about that, but if you're watching this and you want to respond, that would be awesome. Let me know if you have any questions. Have an awesome day. Happy Wednesday.